Hello everyone, this is Anne from Odulcina Scrap. So this video is the part 2 of those inventory card that I'm decorating. I could glue it just like that. I just find it's missing something, and I'm guessing it's just because nothing goes outside the card there, the inventory card. You know, I called it inventory card because you can put some samples of your inventory. Samples of the laces, of the buttons, of the whatever it is. So I'm going to add things in the background to have a little bit more. I don't want it to be too bulky, so maybe I can take... Oh, look at this paper. This is pink and coffee stained papers. And soon enough, I'm gonna have bundles of those available in my shop. But I got to play with those first, so I can't resist. But I worked with a friend of me who just loves to do coffee stained papers and dyeing papers and doing that kind of stuff. She's a crafter, but she don't do any junk journals, not yet, maybe one day. And but she loves to play with the coffee stain and all of that she saw me doing for my junk journals. And yeah, so we worked together to find a perfect combination of pink and coffee stain blend to create a paper that I would love, because I love the coffee stain, but I love pink. You all know that, eh? And I thought I should have pink coffee stain paper. Okay, the problem is that I love everything from the card. I love this number. I love this fake tape. And I love the Paris there. And and I want to see the flowers. I'm a little bit in trouble. Oh, maybe that. Yeah. I'm gonna need to ink it. So most of the time, I don't know myself where I'm going with my project. You really need to try. You really need to find something you love, add a little bit of papers, add a little bit of lace, add a little bit of buttons or bows, silk, sari silk, whatever, and you try. So if I place it kind of like that, I can see it's embossed. It's not hiding too much of the Paris design. And then I can glue that somewhere like that. I think it's a good start. Yeah, I'm gonna put that down, glue that first, and keep working with that. So again, I'm gonna just glue the middle of it so I can still, just to secure it down and make sure it doesn't move. And then I can figure out what else I want to add, and I can still lift up the sides and slide something there. So now this doesn't move, it won't go anywhere, and I can still design and add. And just only when I'm gonna be very ready, I'm gonna glue down the remaining. All right, so we need something like fancy yarns or sari silk. There's already some polka dots here in the design. I don't know if you see well. Yeah, you see well. So I'm just not sure if I'm gonna add more polka dots, but I should try. I should definitively try. maybe just, I don't know. I just don't know. I love those, sometimes I don't want one of the sewing like that I find that I call them a little nut. They're not a nut, they're just sewing, but they look like a nut. I love them because they give it, it can mimic kind of a fake bow, and it gives dimension, but right now I don't want it. So I'm gonna trim, and I'm gonna leave enough of the fabric on both sides so I can use it in a project somewhere. You know, you can just glue it. I don't want to do that here, but you just add it somewhere, and the sewing like that adds kind of a dimension. So never throw them away. These are a part of the sari silk that I really love. And yeah, so it might look like a waste for some, but for me, it's not a waste at all. So I want to just add a tiny bit, maybe just like that. Just a tiny bit of sari silk. And now let's see if I can place it somewhere that it will look naturally placed, that we can see the polka dots, but that it's not too much. Maybe I'll change my mind too. Never know with me. Is it great? I think I love that. I love that enough to glue it down. Yeah. I want to see the polka dots. So it needs to be folded, but not too much, right? A bit like that. If you don't want the hot glue or the glue to show through, I sometimes give it a couple of seconds to dry a little bit more and not press too much. Now it's good. I can press as hard as I want because it's hot glue, so it dries really, really fast. All right, so I think now I can glue this part. Okay, we are there now. I think I should have like a fancy yarn bow here that hangs like that. It will kind of cover this place, and we don't have any bow. Yeah, fancy yarns. So fancy yarns, I have these that are in the colors that I'm looking for. So I think I'm gonna use that. Look at that, I've been stealing a part of this one. So what I'm gonna do, because I've been stealing and I love it, I'm gonna trim it. And here, because it's interesting length, I'm gonna create a knot, and this is ready to go for another project. Now I can just keep it in my stash, and I could use it anywhere. You see, I could just do that, or I could just do that, you know. And because there's a bow, they won't be falling apart and that kind of stuff. But I really want a bow, so let's keep going on. Because sometimes I come and just pick one kind or two of the fancy yarns. Yeah, we can do that. It's no waste, because nothing is waste. Okay. This one looks weird here, so I'll just trim the excess because it's not placed correctly in my kind of bow here. So if I have a bow like that, I love that. I'm gonna trim that. I'm gonna trim it later on too. Now I just need a little bit of tulle or cheesecloth to sit the bow on. This grade 90 cheesecloth is still very, very useful in all of my creation, and I still love that, and I still didn't find something better than that. So if you never bought some, I'm strongly suggesting you to grab some. It's on Amazon or almost everywhere. The keyword is grade 90. Grade 90 gives you this space between the holes are not too big compared to the other cheesecloth that if you tear it, it just all falls apart. This one is more like a fabric, but really, really thin, and I just cut little pieces from the yards that I buy, and I don't have any ink or coffee stain or tea stain on it. It's just the natural off-white color of them. And so far I've bought many brands, and they all look the same. So they're not really white, but they're not really beige as well. They're kind of a very ivory or off-white color. And I just dump them into water, and I create a ball like that when it's all wet, and I let them dry on a plate on my table. And then after, it takes about 2 days, the whole process to dry, and about maybe 10 or 15 hours later, I'll just undo the ball and reshape the ball just to create more folds until it's all dry. And what it creates is all those folds, see, on the sides like that. And as you can see in the middle, there's not a lot of folds. So this is why I cut small pieces. I prefer to have 10 smaller pieces of maybe a couple of inches, like 6 inches by 6 inches. So I have more folds than having a big 1 meter piece and having the folds just in the middle. So the smaller your pieces are, the more folds you're gonna get, because the middle is not folding as much. This is my tip. All right, so you saw I just grabbed the piece, I glued it down, and now when I want to add my bow here, you see it sits on something compared to, let me take this bow like that, if you didn't notice. So I really love my bow to always sit on either the cheesecloth or some tulle or some, it can be laces too. And then once it's glued, this is where I look at the length of my bow and I correct it and trim the excess. So for these gorgeous little bows in the fancy yarn, I love to trim at the bottom of it. So I'll probably have the same thing to do here. I don't love that thread just hanging like that. And I love to have different length here so it looks natural. So same for those with some pom-poms. I love to trim the excess, and this one might be a bit too long, so I'll trim it here instead. And here, either I leave it there, they're not the same length, it's not too long. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Wow, well about that, right? I didn't add that much, but it kind of made it really more complete and less squarish, because the card was just a plain card with that piece in the middle. So now we still see the card, but we have here some things hanging out of the card, and it makes a huge difference. What I could do too, I'm thinking, is maybe glue a little paper tab here or here to kind of have something on the side here hanging out, or I can add another lace here. I have this here, let me see. Yeah, I have this from my first card, you remember? Maybe I can just glue. It's too big, but maybe just that one. Who knows? Oh, kind of like that. This is why you don't glue too far. You kind of leave a little part not glued so you can add. I think I love that. This might be a bit too big, but I'm gonna trim it a little bit so I can put it there. Let's see. I'm gonna take those scissors. Yeah, it might look like a waste, but I'm pretty sure I can reuse this part here somewhere, so it's not a waste. Okay, now that I trimmed it, I can see much better. I'm gonna trim that too. Okay, so if I glue that in between here so I can still see the tape and the writing. And now that I've trimmed that, it doesn't hang out too much. So the proportions are good. Do you love it? I do. I do. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue there and glue it down like that. And I glue it by section because I don't want it to move. I placed it perfectly already, so, well, almost so. And you don't need to glue everywhere, right? So this, like that. Maybe I need to trim a little bit of that or create a fold. Maybe, yeah, I'll just glue it like that and it will be okay. All right, this is glued, so now I know I can add the glue to glue everything else. And don't put too much glue, like you still want it to be fluffy. You just don't want it to hang too much. So if you move it and this falls, that means you need to add a little bit more glue. So here I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of glue. I'm out of glue. All right, this, but see, there's still some dimension here because I didn't glue everything down. All right. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see well. But I think we're going somewhere completed. I still love the idea of the tab, and now I see that this corner is empty. So I'll look at my paper tabs to see if that would be great. I grabbed one of the tab labels that I have, and I think I'm gonna just glue it there and add a little thing here. This will create kind of a dimension. Okay, so I wanted to hang out a little bit, but not too much, just to add a little dimension here, and then I can glue the other side. Once it's placed correctly, I just glue the other side. Even on that side, it will look good when there be some journaling there or anything more added there. So I could leave it like that, or I could add a tiny bit of lace, like really a tiny bit. Not sure. I'm having this idea of adding a wax seal with maybe a lace there. I have the cameo, a rose. Maybe it can be a circle too. Is it better with a circle? I kind of like the idea, but it needs some lace, definitively. So I need to add some lace somewhere. I kind of love this. I'm gonna trim that. This is Crafty Michapolis. So my number might disappear. Do I care? I'm not sure at this point. Well, I think I prefer that and not seeing the numbers. Yeah, so too bad, so sad. There was a number here, right? Number 19, but there's another number there, and the numbers are great, but I prefer this version with the lace. So I'm gonna stuck this lace behind the cheesecloth to start with, and then I'm gonna place this one correctly as well, lifting some parts, showing the ball word. So I'm gonna glue that like that, and now I just need to work with the middle. And I love the camé. The camé is so gorgeous. So I need to place the camé perfectly. So it creates really like the bridge between the tab and the cluster and everything. So I need a little bit more glue here. I've put too much glue. My perfect glue to glue those wax seal is the hot glue. That is the card. Let me show you. This is what I've created, and then I can use that to be a layer on a cover or in between pages as well. Okay, I should stop because it's gonna be a long video, but I want to keep going on. And this card, look at that. The card by itself is just gorgeous. This is my favorite. The pink color is the perfect pink. And I'm thinking this one, it's an easy to do. I just glue it down. I don't even need or have to add anything there. So I'm gonna glue it by section again. Flatten it. And that's it. Look at that. This is ready to go. Ready to go because it already hangs on the side. The card is kind of full. And that's it. Maybe I could add a little tab here on the side. That's an idea. I could add a little bow here and let it hang as well. Yeah, you can still go more and more, but in my case, I'm leaving it as is. This is the sister of that card. Sister, I mean, they're on the same page in the digital kit. So I'm gonna see if I can come up with something. Let's say if I'm taking this, I know I have numbers here, but the idea is to find other ways to use the same cards than the original usage. So the original usage of those simple and inventory card is to put 5 samples of laces or fancy yarns, threads, papers, lines of papers, or washi tapes, whatever you want to sample, to do samplings. But now I'm going to use those cards to create something else. So I'm going to hide those numbers with this gorgeous cluster of these ladies at a vintage wedding. We barely see the heads probably on your screen, but we can see heads there. All right, so if I put that there, I just need to keep going on and maybe hide those numbers with a lace or something just to make sure it doesn't look weird. So let's say, let's say if I use a lace like that eventually. Well, I love that actually. Okay, I love that enough. Let me just trim it. I'll trim it right before those flowers here. Because I think that would be perfect. So if I have that like that, it hides the number. It completes the whole thing. And with the cluster, I keep going on. I just don't know if I want it to be like that with the cluster. Yeah, this looks great. This looks great, and great enough that I can glue it down. I can glue it down, and I'll keep adding more. Okay, I'm gonna glue this down here in the middle. Yeah, I grabbed everything. Okay, I stop here because my design is not complete and I don't know where I'm going. So I want to keep my options open so I can slide something behind. All right, I paused this video to go grab my Fussy cut flowers because I have the PNG files for you to use your Cricut machine or even Fussy cut by hand with scissors. Those gorgeous flowers. Those are from the Roses Paradise kit, the digital kit. And I have some Fussy cut for you bundles as well, with either dual flowers or single flowers, a mix of all of that, different sizes. And I was thinking maybe I can just add them kind of in 3D. like glued down. So adding more of them here and there, you know. But then when I was digging for them, I found more of the flowers that I have in my Fussy cut kits. So these are options too. I can add different. And then I had bits of papers. Look at that, how it can go. Just leftovers that I can just add here and there. You know, tons of choices, right? And in the kits, you always, if you do it yourself, you can do different sizes, and that's what I'm doing all the time. So, and sometimes you see the flower is on one side and then reversed, so you can have this leaf here at the right or at the left. So I can add, look at that, if it's in 3D. And I can add a little bit of maybe tulle at some specific places. And then these cute girls and ladies, what about I'm adding, let's say I remove all that because it's too busy now, but I'm gonna try to make a mix of all of that. Look at that, a cute girl. That would be like, what's that in English? La bouquetière in French. At a wedding or whatever. Or that could be one of the guests there. The pink is not the perfect pink for that, but I can make it work by adding both of the pinks together. Or what about this one? She has more of a perfect pink. So if I place it there, she has the same dress style, or even that one. So now I'm just so confused because I don't know what I really love. Which one is my favorite? Because then if I decide, let's say it's this one, I can add a little paper. Maybe not that. Yeah, I can add it like that. And I can still add a 3D flower as well. I just don't know. I don't know what I want. So let me play off camera because this might take a while, but I'll try to show you before I glue too much. Okay, I think my favorite, it's that girl in blue. It adds another color, it mixes well, and I prefer having a different color than a different pink. My own opinion and taste. So at some point we need to decide, right? And if there's too much choice, I can create another one with the other girls or style. So because I decided now, I can try to make it work. This Paris and green is kind of perfect. I can still add flowers. This one is too big, definitively too big. No, you know what? I think I'm gonna stick with this. Gluing this down, this label, ink them first, and maybe add a little bit of tulle from behind the girl here that hangs here, and a little bit here, and somewhere here, and that should be it, actually. Okay, so I've inked them, I've glued that, and I've inked the little girl, and now I want to glue it down, and I thought I should reopen the camera so you can see my process, how I'm going to glue this girl down with a cluster of fabric there and the card and the lace. And I just want to try that first. Do I want to have another paper there for more dimension, and I think so. So this, I'm gonna glue it there just to secure it, just a dot of glue for now, because I might add some cheesecloth or something else. I've just put a little dot of glue there. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place it perfectly how I want it. I want it to be kind of like that. That looks great. The proportion of where her head is going, the little hand, the feet, and everything. So because the head is on the cluster, I can glue the head directly to the fabric there to secure it. And then I need to add more here because there's going to be a gap of whatever is behind her. So I'm going to glue her head. I just put a big amount of glue there, and I can add more later, but this will secure the girl. She won't be able to move anymore. And then here, yeah, okay, here I have a cluster and I can feel it very well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim it. It's not showing and it's creating bulkiness, and I want to keep that flower. So I'm gonna trim it. This is why you don't want to glue everything down too quickly. Boy, those are not the good scissors. It's always like that, eh? I probably have 20 pairs of scissors, but they're not around me. All right, so I've lost the bulkiness, and you know what? Because I've lost it, I can kind of glue it pretty much flat. Although I'm not sure if I love the flat. I need to add some tulle. Yeah, I definitively need to add some tulle. And put that back here. Okay, so let me take the tulle. If I take little sections of tulle and I kind of add it somewhere, I can create folds and control where the tulle goes. But see, you see already the difference? Let me zoom in a little bit. Without, that should look like that. And then if I can add a little bit like that, and I create a fold. I love that. So yeah, this is how we need to work now. Adding a little bit of tulle here and there. So I'm gonna put tulle here as well. So let me grab another piece, and maybe I can fold it into two to have more, and slide it like that behind the girl. Love that. I just love that. Okay, so I think I can glue this part. Take your spatula. The tulle doesn't need that much of glue, so. And I'm pressing down really heavy. I'm gonna add 1 dot of glue here for the little hand. Good. Okay, here too, I want a little bit of tulle. See, you don't need that much, eh? And you can fold it so there's more dimension. I'm just maybe too much zoomed in. And I can slide it like that, and it creates the bridge between this cluster and the flatness of this lace. I don't know if you see well, but there's really like a good dimension here. Yeah, on camera it's not as easy, but okay, so I'm good to go with adding a bit of glue. I'm gonna place it so it's easy for me. So how I'm gonna glue that, add some glue here and along here, maybe here. There you go. And then I'm gonna flatten that slowly and delicately. And it's glued. This is great. I love that. I love that. Okay, I just need that one there and glue the remaining of the dress. And I can trim more, you know. So I'm gonna put some glue here. I'm gonna wait for the little feet. Maybe this will go. This part. So this is how I glue my stuff. Because to me, every angle counts and every fold counts. I'm messy and it looks like it's all not straight, but it is straight in some way. Okay, now I need to be very careful to not burn myself. I'm gonna create one more fold while I apply the glue, and the glue will hold everything, as you could see me doing. And that, be careful. There you go. It's all glued. And I find that because I've used the hot glue, it created a little bit of bulkiness from the glue behind the girl. And it's perfect as it shows kind of that it's not flat glued to the card. I don't think you can see that on camera, but it looks gorgeous on my side in real. So, are we done with that card? I think we can leave it as is. I could add something there, more lace, but yeah, I'll keep it simple. Change my mind, I think. Maybe one flower, one 3D flowers like that. Yeah. I'm gonna ink it. The ink is mostly to remove the white. Can I zoom in and show you? This white from the paper that we see on the side, when you ink it, look, it's gone. So it's not really to show the ink on the flower itself. It's really to remove the white from the sides. That's the main reason why I ink them. So I don't put too much ink. And then it's because it's the same flower, that should look gorgeous, and it will kind of fill the gap here. There's the little gap. What about that? I love it. And I think I'm gonna put one big dot of hot glue to make it a bit 3D, or I could have used some 3D dots of glue to give it some dimension compared to the others. Yeah. Okay, that was a good idea. Let me zoom out. All right. There we go. So I started with that cluster of ladies and added some papers, some lace, a fussy cut girl tulle, and the fussy cut flower that goes with the flowers that are the same flowers. That could be different flower too, I guess. Yeah. There you go. One last. I did that little cluster with my teddy bears fabric a while ago, and if I glue it like that, well, that's it. I think we can be done, so I'll do that. I'll just put a cluster in the middle, glue it away that it's hiding the numbers, it's peeking out a little bit. That's it. And now I'm gonna add more glue to glue it shut down. I don't think I'm gonna add more to that one. This will be like a simple one. Sometimes we can have simple ones, and it's not so simple actually. There's a lot of work in that cluster and layers and everything, so it's not like if we just glued the fabric directly, right? We have labels, little tags, I should say. We have fancy yarns. I just didn't do any embroidery, but I could have. Look at that gorgeous teddy bear. This is my latest addition to my fabric, if you're a teddy bear lover. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna end up this video here. I'm gonna put pictures of the cards. So I'm gonna finish this video with kind of a video of pictures, so you see better the details. And it all started with this one, and I'm gonna put details as well. Look at that. These are the gazebos. The gazebos fabric. Look at that pot of flower there in the middle of the table. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.